Most ankle mobility work focuses on the tissues. Stretch the calf, loosen the Achilles, push deeper into the end range. But restriction isn't always a tissue problem. Oftentimes, it's a mapping problem. Think of the nervous system as holding a map of your body. The less detail that map has for a given region, the more it restricts what it allows there. This routine is about adding detail to that map. Let's get started with passive ankle rotations. This is something that you can do sitting in a chair with your leg crossed over, or on the ground in the same way with your leg crossed over. Just make sure that your ankle isn't supported on your knee so that you have room to move your foot around. I'm going to cross my legs like this because it's a little more comfortable, but don't feel like you have to do exactly what I'm doing. So we're going to hold the ankle or lower leg with the hand, and we're gonna hold the foot with the other hand, and I'm gonna try and relax my foot as much as possible as I use my hand to rotate the foot. I'm doing slow rotations. Typically, if you are moving at your regular speed, you can probably go 50% slower and be at a good pace. When we go slowly, we tend to go through our whole range of motion, but when we go too fast, we tend to skip over the difficult ranges and focus on the ranges that are more familiar. And what we're trying to do here is charting the full arc of our range of motion. We're not trying to force the range. So we want to do slow circles in both directions, focusing on covering every angle of that range of motion. Make sure you do both sides. Slow rotations, and you might notice certain parts of the range of motion that are difficult to relax into, or that feel like they stutter or skip over. Those are areas you want to slow down even more and really just focus. One of mine is right around here. So sometimes I'll go back and forth, and what I'm really concentrating on isn't pulling as hard as I can with this hand. It's on relaxing whatever it is in my foot that's resisting that angle of range. So nice slow circles. 3 to 5 times is usually good. Say 3 is good because if you feel like you have to do 5, you're more likely to speed them up a little bit. Next, we're going to look at some stretches. Now, we're not really forcing the end range. It's not like we're stretching to try and get as far as we can. Really, we're just trying to find where the resistance begins and then focus on relaxing the muscles that are resisting. I'm thinking about marking the edge of the map and then inviting the system to extend that edge. So instead of forcing as far as I can go, I want to feel where I can feel a bit of that resistance. And once I feel that, I just want to focus on how can I consciously relax the muscles that are contracting in order to create that resistance. So this is what mapping really is. We're getting our brain to remap its idea of what's going on in these muscles in this joint when it's moving. So this is our plantar flexion stretch. And I'm holding the ankle or the leg again, and then I'm just grabbing the top of the foot with my other hand and leaning back with it. Only go to where you feel a bit of that resistance. If you go too far, you're not going to be able to relax into it. So wait until the resistance relaxes, and then you can go a little bit deeper. You're looking for your body's permission. You're not trying to force it into a range that it's not prepared for. And try on the other foot. Or plantar flexion stretch. And again, I'm holding the lower leg, and the other hand is holding the toes and the end of the foot, And I'm just sort of bracing with that leg holding arm and leaning back with the hand. Again, this can all be done in a chair with your legs crossed or on the floor with your leg extended. So you want to hold that position where you feel the resistance and focus on relaxing where you feel that resistance, wherever it may be. Okay, let's go back to our initial foot and we'll look at the next one, dorsiflexion. So our dorsiflexion stretch is going to be pretty light because we're used to putting our whole body weight on our foot like this. So you can pull and push like so, or you can get around like this as if you're taking off a boot, and you're going to take your same side hand as the leg, wrap it around the bottom of the foot and make sure you hook the fingers on the palm of your hand, and then you're going to put the heel of your palm onto the back of your heel. From there you can push the heel and lean back with the hand supporting the toes. You're not going to feel the most intense stretch that you can find, but you are going to feel a little bit of resistance, maybe in the sole of the foot, maybe in the Achilles. So you just want to light up that resistance a little bit at the edge of it and focus on relaxing those muscles consciously. You can do the other side as well. And when you're timing these stretches, one really good way to do it is to focus on your breathing. You can take a few deep breaths. Try to make your breaths long. And if you take about 5 breaths, that should be good. Breathing can also help you relax those resistant muscles. You can focus on relaxing them on the exhalation. Okay, and 2 more we're going to do, which is a little bit of rotation. So first we're going to rotate so that we're looking at the sole of the foot. I'm going to bring my opposite hand under my foot, and I'm kind of hooking like I'm trying to use it to look at my baby toe. And then the other hand is going to go over top of the big toe and the base of the foot. And this hand is pushing down and this hand is pulling up. So I can just kind of lean to the side and get a nice stretch, just enough that I do feel a little bit of that resistance, and I can focus on relaxing. After a few breaths, you can try the other side, hooking under the foot so that you're looking at the baby toe, and then pressing the base of the big toe and just leaning into it. Again, finding where that resistance is. Trying to release. And one last stretch. What we're going to do is the opposite. So I'm going to be looking at the top of my baby toe. So I want to hook the same side hand under, wrap the fingers around the foot just before the base of the baby toe, and then I'm pulling that side like so I can see my baby toe better. Next, I'm going to take my hand, I'm going to put it on the top of the big toe and the base of the big toe where the foot is. I'm going to use my thumb to press down, and I'm using my fingers to pull up on the other side. So this way I should be able to see my baby toe a little bit more, and I should feel a little bit, maybe not a huge stretch, but definitely some resistance. And I'm just going to focus on relaxing that resistance. And other side, we're wrapping the fingers around the sole of the foot on the pinky side, and then putting the other hand over the big toe and the base of the foot. And then I'm pulling that bottom hand and pushing the top hand. Once I feel enough of a stretch that there's a bit of a resistance, I just try and focus on relaxing whatever muscle that resistance is coming from. Passive rotation traces the outline. Active rotation is you firing the nerves that draw the missing parts of the map. This is the same arc, but now your foot moves on its own. We're going to set ourselves up the same way as the ankle rotations, but this time we're not using our hand to rotate. The point isn't to relax into the hand moving the foot now. The point is for us to move the foot through that full range of motion. We've just done some stretching and some passive rotations, so our outline is pretty well defined passively. Now we're filling in the gap of that active movement. And again, we want to go very slowly. Generally, whatever speed you're going, you can cut that in half and that'll be a good speed. You only need to do it about 3 times per side if you're going really slow. And if you get a spasm or cramp in your foot, that's a sign that you're going into ranges of motion that you don't normally have access to. And every time you go into one of those unfamiliar ranges of motion, your brain is building a more accurate map of that area. Make sure you do both sides. Slow, big circles. If you think about touching 8 points like north, northwest, west, southwest, south, southeast, east, northeast, then you'll get a good coverage of all your ranges. And you might notice that there's a particular segment of your range of motion where your movement is a little bit shaky, or you don't feel like you have much control of the speed of your movement. Those are areas that you might want to focus on slowing down even more. Again, if you go too fast, what's going to happen is your body's going to favor the ranges of motion, the segments of what you have available that are easiest, most familiar. And then you won't be building a map of new territory. If the rotations and stretches were charting the region, Self-Shiatsu is where we actually get into the deep details of what's going on. This is where we get up close and personal with the muscles and in the space between the joints, and really just work out not just the tension in the muscles, but expose some of the patterns that the nervous system might be holding in these areas. Let's start with doing a little bit of Self-Shiatsu in between the space of the bones in our foot. So these are called the metatarsals, and they start around here. You can feel them. There's 2 long bones, one with each toe, and you're going to get in between those first 2 with your fingers. You can hold your fingers like this, and your thumb holds the bottom of the foot, and you can use that squeeze to drive the fingers gently in between those 2 metatarsals. So you don't want to squeeze as hard as you can. So you don't want your fingernails turning white. But you want enough pressure that you're feeling some stimulation. There might be certain points that are more tender than others. If that's the case, you can kind of press it a little bit, come back to that area, focus a little more on it. And then we're going to get to the next. So we'll get in between each metatarsal. This is between this second and third. And then between the third and fourth, we can get at it from under the foot. With the other hand, same idea. I'm holding with my thumb and I'm bringing my fingers into that space between the metatarsals. So first between the third and fourth, then between the fourth and fifth. Let's try the other side. First and second metatarsals. You can use either hand for this. Here I'm squeezing between my palm, or I can use this hand and the squeeze is more between my thumb. Second and third metatarsal, same idea. Third and fourth from underneath. Again, if you feel any really tender spots, come back to them. Don't dig in too much, but go over them a few times and they should soften a little. If you want to hold them, hold gently, just to the point where you feel a little bit of resistance, like the stretches, and then focus on consciously relaxing what's under the finger. And then between the fourth and fifth metatarsal, this is usually pretty tender for most people. Okay, next we're going to do a little bit of shiatsu for the toes. So you're just going to take your fingers, index and thumb, and squeeze along the sides of the toe, especially the base of the toenail. Each toe along the sides. Might be some spots that are tender, especially at the corners of the toes. Both sides. You can squeeze with the palm as well for the big toe, or the thumb and index. Second toe, third toe. This kind of thing wakes up the nerves in the toes. You'll feel more of a sense of your toes after doing this. And you can release quite a bit of tension in the foot by working through the toes. So next we're just going to look at a little bit of kind of calf and lower leg. So what I'm going to do here is use my palm or my thumb, and I'm going to draw a line between my knee along the side of the calf to the base of the ankle bone. So from here, I'm just pressing, and when I press, I want to lean forward. If you're in a chair, this is going to be easy, but if you're sitting on the floor, you might want to elevate your hips for this. So here I'm pressing, and I'm keeping my arm fairly straight and focusing mostly on lowering my body or leaning forward to apply pressure with my body weight instead of my muscles. In Shiatsu, we press using our body weight for the most part, partly because this has a different effect on the nervous system. It's muscular pressure is a little bit more threatening to the nervous system, and it tends to stimulate more of that sympathetic nervous system response. Whereas relaxing into it, relaxing into our body's structure, and just pressing down, leaning forward, and not using excessive muscular tension to apply the force. And that stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system a little bit more, promotes that relaxation and permission of the joints that we're looking for. After doing the side of the leg, you can do the back. So in the calf, you can press again. This one, I'm bringing my thumbs together and I'm pressing in as I lean forward. It's really my forward lean that's creating the pressure here. If there's really tender areas, don't press harder. Focus on relaxing as you apply the pressure. And if you have pretty tight calves, you might want to do this a few times. You might want to go at a few slightly different angles with this as well, but I'll leave that up to you. You can go with both your hands together at the side, or you can stack your thumbs and focus on pressing with one thumb and pressing the other thumb onto that thumb to apply more pressure and support. Okay, other side. Same idea, we want to do this line here. So we can hold with the palm and go down. This is again, we're focusing on that lean forward. Or we can use the thumb. You can use both thumbs together, or you can support your thumb with your hand like this and apply pressure. My thumb is creating the precision, and then I'm using this hand to put my weight onto it. That way I'm not limited by the strength of my thumb. I'm not putting too much wear on it. Once you get to the ankle, you can work around it. And when you're done, again, we can go behind the leg to the calf, pressing with the thumbs as we lean forward. Bring it all the way down to the heel. And do that a few times if you have particularly tight calves. Okay, one more thing we're going to play with is tibialis. So here I'm going to be sitting in this figure 4 position, and I'm going to hook my fingers like a little heart on this side of my bone, so I can feel my shin bone. I want to be on the outside of the shin bone. That's the tibialis. And I can stagger my fingers just a little bit so that I'm getting 2 lanes. And all I'm doing is hooking and leaning back to apply pressure. I don't need to have a painful amount of pressure for this to be effective. Again, we're trying to feel the muscular resistance and see if we can put our brain in that muscle in the leg and focus on letting the nerves let go of the contraction signal to the muscles. And work your way down, holding until you've leaned your weight all the way back. If you feel like your leg's sliding, you can hold that leg behind it. Again, you can do this in a chair as well, but you'll have to be bending down a little bit. Once you get to the bottom, you can go all the way down until you reach the kind of line where it starts to feel like the foot more than the leg. You can do that a few times if you have a really tight area there, and then switch sides. Again, just staggering the fingers so that you're getting more coverage on that tibialis muscle. Especially if you go for a run or a walk after not doing it for a while and you get shin splints or something like that, this is a really good technique to add to your collection. All the way down to the foot. And then finally we'll do the sides. So I'm pressing, it's like squeezing together. And I'm trying to get this side line here. There's a muscle you'll feel more tight or more hard than the rest. That's what you're trying to get. This hand on this side is really just supporting and receiving the pressure from this arm. And I want to lean sideways into it as much as possible. A little bit of movement with my knee and my hip to apply pressure without using too much muscular force. Both sides. Leaning into it, not just using muscle. And when you get down to the bottom, you can use this hand wrapping around and apply a little pressure with the palm of this hand to assist. Get all the way around this bone. This isn't just mobility, it's also cartography. You're giving your nervous system a more detailed and confident map of what's going on in your feet. That's what changes how the ankle moves in a fundamental and long-lasting way.